Automatic gratuities are added to cruise bills on nearly every major cruise line out there. Yet none of those cruise lines have ever been transparent with how that system works behind the scenes, until now. I had the chance to speak with someone on the inside of one of the major cruise lines, and they walked me through exactly how the gratuity system actually operates. And it answered questions cruisers have been debating for years. Who receives that money? How is it divided? And what really happens after it shows up on your bill? So today we're going to unpack what I learned and take a much closer look at how cruise ship gratuities really work. For years, automatic gratuities have been one of the most debated topics in cruising. Some people are convinced that every dollar of those gratuities goes straight to the crew, including behind-the-scenes crew members you'd never have a chance to tip with cash. But others believe the system is being used to subsidize salaries or simply pad the profits of the cruise lines. And the problem is that cruise lines have never really explained how the mechanics actually work, which leaves cruisers trying to piece things together from rumors, partial answers, and a lot of guesswork. So in this video, we're going to walk through the structure of the system step by step. We're going to look at how the money is collected, how the pools are structured, how it's divided across the ship, and what actually happens once those gratuities appear on your bill. And along the way, we're also going to tackle a few of the biggest questions cruisers ask about this topic. Because once you see how the system actually works behind the scenes, you'll finally have the full picture so you can decide for yourself whether keeping those gratuities on your bill is the right choice. Oh, and if we haven't met yet, I'm Evan from Family at Sea. If this is your first time watching my channel, I'm glad you're here. And if you've been here a while, you already know how much I appreciate you. If you're ready, I am. Let's go. Before we get into the mechanics of how this system works today, it helps to understand where automatic gratuities actually came from. For most of cruising's history, tipping worked very differently. Passengers were expected to tip individual crew members directly, usually by handing out cash envelopes at the end of the cruise to their cabin steward, dining room servers, and sometimes the head waiter. And the idea was simple. If someone provided great service, you'd tip them personally. But over time, cruise lines started running into problems with that model. Crew income could vary widely depending on passenger tipping habits, and many guests were unsure who they were expected to tip or how much. So cruise lines gradually began shifting toward the system most cruisers know today, where gratuities are automatically added to passengers' onboard accounts and then distributed through internal compensation pools. And by the early 2000s, most major cruise lines had adopted some version of that approach. And that brings us to how this video came together. Recently, I got a message from an old friend I hadn't spoken with in years. The YouTube algorithm had done what it sometimes does, and one of my videos showed up in their feed. It had been years since we spoke last, and they had no idea that this is what I'm doing these days, so they were shocked when I showed up on their feed, and they sent me a message with a screenshot of me in one of their videos and just said, "Evan, clearly we have some catching up to do." And so we ended up hopping on a call and catching up on the last decade or so of life. And during that conversation, I learned they now work in a corporate role at one of the major cruise lines, and we talked about all sorts of different things inside the industry, and eventually I got up the courage to ask the question. I figured the worst they were going to do was laugh at me and say, "Don't I wish I knew?" But surprisingly, they actually talked to me about it. All of it. So for the next hour, I asked every question I could think of, and what you're about to hear is my best attempt to explain what I learned from that conversation. And let me state right now that I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize my friend's career, so I won't be sharing what cruise line they work for, and I can't promise how similar what I'm sharing is across all the different cruise lines, but I suspect it's pretty similar. And I'll also add, if anyone from the cruise lines would like to clarify how things work for your specific cruise line, or if there's additional context that would help cruisers better understand how gratuities actually work, my door is open, and I'd be happy to have you on the channel to have that conversation. And on a similar note, if any crew members or folks on the corporate side would like to discuss things discreetly, I'm available to do that as well, and I promise you I won't do anything to jeopardize your anonymity. Because at the end of the day, the goal here isn't to point fingers or push an agenda, it's simply to help cruisers better understand a system that's never really been explained very well. So before we talk about how the system works behind the scenes, it's important to make sure we're all talking about the same thing. Automatic gratuities are the daily service charges that cruise lines add to your onboard account. On most major cruise lines today, that amount usually falls somewhere in the range of about $18 to $25 per day per person, depending on the cruise line and the type of cabin you're staying in. You'll typically see them on your account as something like hotel service charge, daily service charge, or simply gratuities. They're added automatically, which is why most people refer to them as automatic gratuities, but technically they are optional on most cruise lines. If a passenger wants to adjust or remove them, they can usually do that by visiting guest services during their cruise. And it's also worth pointing out that these are separate from the gratuities that are automatically added to things like drinks, specialty dining, or spa services. Those service charges are usually tied directly to that specific purchase and are handled differently. What we're focusing on in this video is the daily gratuity that's added to your account for the general service you receive throughout the cruise. Because that single line item on your bill is what feeds into the system we're about to break down. Alright, enough backstory. Let's talk about the question you're here to get the answer to. Who actually receives the money? Well, the first thing to understand is that automatic gratuities don't move directly from your bill to crew members' paychecks. Instead, the money is collected across the entire ship and then pooled together first. And that pool is tied primarily to the ship's hotel operations side of the crew, particularly positions like stateroom attendants and dining room service staff. But once the gratuities are collected, the money doesn't just get split evenly or handed out individually. Instead, it becomes part of a structured compensation system that the cruise line manages internally. Each of those service positions has what is essentially a target compensation structure attached to it, and that structure is built from a combination of a base wage and a share of the gratuity pool. So instead of passengers tipping crew members individually, the gratuity pool helps fund the overall compensation for those service roles across the ship. Now here's where the system becomes a little more complex. Not all of the money collected through automatic gratuities simply turns into direct paychecks for those crew members. Some of it does, but some of it also feeds into broader compensation programs tied to those departments. That can include things like employee incentive programs, departmental bonus pools, and other forms of crew compensation that are tied to service performance or operational goals on the ship. So while the gratuity system is primarily connected to those frontline service positions, parts of the pool can also support the broader compensation structure within those hotel service departments. And that's one of the reasons the system is so hard for passengers to understand from the outside. When you look at the charge on your bill, it simply says gratuities or service charge, but behind the scenes, that money is being routed through a much larger internal structure that determines how compensation is handled for those roles across the ship. Another important piece of the system is that the money is typically calculated and distributed based on roles and departments, not based on which passenger interacted with which crew member. So even if you had the same stateroom attendant all week, the gratuities collected across the ship are pulled together first and then distributed according to that internal structure. And that's why the system functions very differently than traditional tipping. It's less like leaving a tip for a specific person and more like contributing to a compensation pool that supports the service positions responsible for taking care of passengers throughout the cruise. So does this money actually get to the behind-the-scenes crew members that are championed as the reason to participate in automatic gratuities? Sorta, but not directly. Instead, they may have opportunities to participate in those employee incentive programs and departmental bonuses, but only if certain goals are met, and the majority of those gratuities are distributed to the front of house staff that you have an opportunity to tip in cash, leaving very little for the people working hard behind the scenes. So then the obvious question is, well, how much money actually flows into that pool on a typical cruise? Now let's get into the part that really explains how the system works. Because the real question isn't just how much money gets collected, the real question is at what point does that money actually become extra income for the crew? And then when is it simply covering what the cruise line already expects to pay them? And the answer comes down to how the gratuity pool is structured. The incentives and bonus programs tied to that pool aren't triggered by a certain percentage of passengers leaving gratuities in place. They're triggered once a specific dollar amount has been collected into the pool. That amount represents the minimum funding needed to cover the compensation targets tied to those service departments. And only after that level has been reached does additional money start flowing into things like additional pay for crew members, incentive programs, or departmental bonuses. So in simple terms, the cruise lines, or at least the one in this example, are protecting their bottom line before anything additional actually flows through to the hardworking crew members they want us to believe these gratuities are supporting. So now that we understand that, let's walk through a simple example. Imagine a ship sailing with 4,000 passengers on board and a daily automatic gratuity of $20 per person. If every passenger leaves those gratuities in place, the ship collects $80,000 per day in gratuities. Over a 7-night cruise, that creates a gratuity pool of $560,000. Now, let's say the internal compensation structure tied to that sailing requires $450,000 to cover the minimum compensation targets before anything additional is distributed beyond the guaranteed minimum salaries for crew members. That means the first $450,000 collected isn't creating extra income at all. It's covering the baseline compensation structure that's already built into the system. And only the money above that level starts to create room for things like departmental incentive programs or bonus pools. So in this example, if the ship collects $560,000, that leaves $110,000 above the threshold. And that's the portion where additional compensation programs can come into play. But if the ship sails with fewer passengers, or if a significant number of passengers remove gratuities, that pool shrinks. And once the total collected drops below that internal target, there simply isn't any extra money left behind to fund these programs. Which means the system makes sure the cruise line's numbers work first, and only after that do the crew see anything extra. And there's another layer to this as well. Crew compensation is typically split into two parts between base pay and discretionary pay. The base pay is the fixed portion of their salary, and that's what things like sick time, PTO, holiday pay, or any kind of workers' compensation or things like that are calculated from. The discretionary pay is everything else, so things like bonuses, incentives, and the portions that are influenced by the gratuity pool. And that distinction matters more than it sounds, because by keeping the base pay relatively low and shifting more of the total compensation into discretionary pay, the cruise lines are able to keep their obligations tied to things like time off or injury payouts significantly lower. So even before you get into how the gratuity pool itself is structured, the foundation of the pay system is already designed in a way that limits what the cruise line is required to pay out directly. Learning how this system actually works has been pretty eye-opening for me. If you've watched my videos for a while, you know I've been a very vocal advocate for leaving automatic gratuities in place. I've always believed tipping the crew is simply the right thing to do. And after learning how the system works, I still believe it's more important than ever to take care of the crew. And unfortunately, I know some of you are going to watch this and use it as justification to remove their automatic gratuities and say they'll just tip in cash instead, but instead they're going to tip less in cash than they would have paid into those automatic gratuities. So instead of making sure the crew is taken care of, they're going to use it as an opportunity to, well, keep more money in their own wallets. I just don't think that's right. Personally, I still think I'll have a hard time removing automatic gratuities. But if I ever did, I wouldn't treat that as a way to save money. Instead, if I removed them, I'd still tip out at least the full amount that would have been covered by those gratuities. And then I'd still tip above that because, well, that's what I've always done anyways. Because what matters to me isn't saving money. What matters is making sure more of that money ends up with the crew members who are working incredibly hard 11 hours a day for 6 to 8 months at a time without a single day off. And there's another reality here too. As more passengers start removing automatic gratuities, cruise lines aren't going to just absorb that loss. Instead, they'll adjust the system. They'll raise fares, restructure how the charges work, or move more toward models like Margaritaville at Sea, where gratuities can't be removed at all. And honestly, that approach might make more sense anyways. Right now, cruise lines keep gratuities separate because it allows the base cruise fare to look cheaper when people are comparing prices. And if those gratuities were simply included in the fare, the cruise would look even more expensive even if the total cost ended up being the same. So in my opinion, the better long-term solution would be for cruise lines to drop automatic gratuities entirely and simply show the full price of the cruise up front. Now, will that happen? I'm not sure. Virgin Voyages tried something close to that by including gratuities in their pricing, but they recently moved away from that model, which was honestly pretty disappointing to see. But realistically, the only way cruise lines will even consider moving in that direction is if enough passengers push for more transparency. And yes, that means that those of you who currently remove gratuities to save money won't be able to do that anymore. But honestly, you're being subsidized by the rest of us, so this would be more fair anyways. And look, the most important thing, I think for the vast majority of us, is that we want the crew that are working so hard to be taken care of, and this will give us a better way to ensure that's actually happening. And look, if any of you hardworking crew members are watching, please know that all I'm trying to do, and I think many of us are trying to do, is make sure you guys are taken care of. Because while the cruise lines and the corporate side of that and all that is incredibly important to continue financing things, to create jobs for you guys and opportunities for us. But look, I know how hard you work, and I want to make sure more than anything that you are being taken care of. And look, it doesn't end there. Even if you understand how gratuities work, a lot of cruisers still end up spending far more than they needed to on their cruise. Between confusing pricing, limited cabin inventory, and booking at the wrong time, it's incredibly easy to overpay without even realizing it. The good news? After more than 50 cruises, I've learned a handful of simple strategies that can dramatically lower what you pay for the exact same cruise. And I don't mean by removing automatic gratuities. So don't stop here, watch that one next, and I'll show you how to stop overpaying for cruises using the same booking tricks I use every time I sail. I'll see you over there. If you're ready, I am. Let's go.